I'm going to show you what I've been picking up right after this. What's up everyone? T-RAVIS here, and man, has it been a minute since I've done a video. And I've just been busy. Life happens, work, things going on, and just haven't really had time to sit down and make a video and edit it and all that stuff. But I have been picking things up. I have been doing some trading, and I went to the Southern Indiana Comic Show. I just went to participate this time. I didn't set up and sell there. Always a great show. Happens every 3 or 4 months. And man, I've just been busy. So I've changed my collecting. I've been focusing on obscure independents from the 80s and 90s, some 70s. I've been dipping my toes into the pool of underground comics from the 70s, and I've sent some stuff off to be graded, and I've narrowed my collecting down. Certain things I'm trying to put sets together, get so far, and then just work on different genres. So I'm going to show you a little bit. I got some stacks here. If I showed you everything I have picked up, this would be an hour something plus video, and I'd have stacks of books here, and that's just a lot of stuff. So some of this stuff, it's been so long, I don't remember, but I'm going to show it. I had a Amazing Spider-Man 238, First Hobgoblin, one of my favorite books. And this copy that I had, I picked this copy up at Cincinnati Comic Con a couple years ago, and I've been sitting on it. And my comic shop, I switched comic shops, so now I deal solely with, as far as new books and stuff, is with subscription comics. You can check him out online. Really good guy runs it, Aaron, and does great deals and takes care of you. But he also submits for CGC. He'll submit, and I've got a couple of books now. He also presses and cleans books, and so I gave him these books and sent them out. And so this came back. This Amazing Spider-Man 238 in a 7.5 blue label. It's got the tats in it. And this is a gorgeous book. Gorgeous. Look at this. 7.5. Well, right here is the only problem with the book. I didn't know if it would hurt it this bad or not. I know you can see that. It looks like the printer or something grabbed onto it, because it's got little jagged edges on the little thing. It looks like, so I thought it might be counted as a manufacturer defect, but they said it was silverfish. So apparently silverfish got a hold of the bottom of this book, and of course it's got a stain, made it stain, and CGC just does not do any justice with stains. If I have another stain book, if it had to be a really valuable book, before I waste my money sending it in to get graded, because it just hurts you so bad. Because this book is so beautiful. Look how it presents so well. But I've already cried over that, so it's over with. I also sent in this book's going to get cracked and re-cemented. Daredevil 168 First Electra. I mean, look at this book. It's beautiful. It was Aaron cleaned and pressed it. Did a phenomenal job. There's no spine ticks, no blemishes. It does have off-white to white pages, so I know that'll cap it. But come on, this is a 9 all day long. There's nothing else wrong with it. There's no nicks. The corners are perfect. Man, what a horse grader. But it is what it is. And I had this book submitted This is just personally for me, it has value to me. But Justice Machine Annual, got a 9.0 on it. And you're thinking, wow. So this is from Texas Comics. I've got like 6, 7 copies of this. But this was the nicest one. Got cleaned and pressed. Um, but it's the first appearance of the Elementals, and that was one of my favorite groups. They appeared here, and then they went to, I don't know what we're calling it nowadays. We always called it Comico, but people were calling it Comico or whatever, and did their series there. I loved that series back then. And had their first appearance. I got several of their first appearances, but this is just for the PC. Glad to have it in there. Did manage to pick me up a Captain Britain #1 with the mask. This does have the mask in there, and this is probably a very fine near mint copy. So I'm working on a Captain Britain set. Captain Britain ran 1 through issue 39 in the UK. And after issue 39, it joined Spider-Man in a book. He joined it, so it had him and Spider-Man in a book. But only the book self-titled with Captain Britain, which these books run Fantastic Four and Nick Fury stories from the 60s tagged with this magazine. I'm only about 14 issues away. And the other big boy book from that is issue 8 with the first appearance of Betsy Braddock. So that's going to be a money book. Maybe I'll get lucky and find a good deal. I found a great deal on that one. I looked up on that book, and I don't want to tell you what I paid for it, but it was not for the buy it now prices that listed on eBay right now. I'll tell you that, way under. I did have my guy KJ over on Porch Puppy Comics. Check him out. Did a deal with him. Got this Bloodstone #1. Beautiful shaped book. He had a couple copies. We worked something out. I got this from him. I've never owned this book till then. And this is definitely going to stay with me in the PC. So glad to have that. Working on... I've always been a Dave Stevens fan from the 80s, and I had a lot of these books and just let them trickle out over the years, and then I started getting interested in them again, and now everybody's interested. I guess it's that documentary on Prime. If you've never watched that, watch it on Dave. It's really good. I had started back on getting some of these books back before that hit, and I'm not saying I'm the reason it hit, not by any means, but now the prices are creeping up on it. But I've managed to put together a pretty good little stack of Dave Stevens, and some of this stuff has come off eBay. Some I bought little collections, and there'd be a book tucked away in there. Southern Indiana Comic Show, just a bunch of different stuff. Some of them I already had, so I'm just going to go through them and show you everyone I got. So I picked up this Elvira's House of Mystery newsstand, number 11, issue number 11 with the Dave Stevens cover. Beautiful cover. Jungle Comics #1 from I believe it's Blackthorn. Yeah, Blackthorn Publishing. Another nice cover. And this book surprised me. And I believe I have shown this one in a video before. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen most of these books because I post them on there. It's easier to just take a picture, pop something up about it. But this right here is the reason you should always check your books. This is Alien Worlds #2, Dave Stevens cover. But when I cracked it open, Dave Stevens had signed on the inside front cover, because back in the early 80s, when you had a book signed by somebody, they didn't want to mess up the cover, so they signed on the inside front cover there, or inside the front page, and that's where all your signatures were at from back, if it's a book from that time period. So, you know, go through your books. You got to go through them. So there's autographed. This one here, I plan on getting it cleaned and pressed, and I was going to submit it to CBCS, but now that eBay, Lord, CGC has acquired that autograph company, I believe in April they're going to start taking submissions, so they're going to authenticate signatures now. This is where that's going. Um, Look at this, Dave Stevens. This is a new one. This is Rocketeer Adventures, Jetpack Comics exclusive. And this is an interior page from another Dave Stevens book from Rocketeer. And they took it out, and you can't see it on camera. Maybe you can, kind of right there. Like her outlines, they went back through and did this black outline on her where she makes her stand out, and it looks almost raised. So this is Dave Stevens art, but it's just they've went through it and touched them up to make it stand out and be more vibrant, because, you know, this was printed on newsprint, and that's what you got back then. But now it just pops right on this cover. Beautiful cover. This is another one of their Jetpack Comics exclusives right there with Betty Page. Well, it's not really Betty Page. Well, it's Rocketeer's girlfriend, Betty. So we all know it's supposed to be Betty Page, but Seduction of the Innocent #1. This beautiful Halloween one there. Alien Worlds 3D #1. I need a better copy than this, but this does not have a Dave Stevens cover. I don't believe that's Dave Stevens. But it does have interior work done by him. And it has the glasses. Here's one that a lot of people don't know about. Xena Warrior Princess 2. And that's a Dave Stevens cover. And it's got a little, I don't know if you can see that, it's got a little DS right there. King Kong #1. Sheena, Queen of the Jungle 3D. Beautiful Dave Stevens cover. Another Blackthorn. World of Wood #2. Dave Stevens. Vanguard Illustrated #2. Johnny Quest #3. And this is one of his latter works. So this is actually, there's some Image comics out there with Dave Stevens stuff on it. There's one called Mad Planet, Bad Planet. It's an expensive book. It must have a really low print run. But also this DV8 #1 has a Dave Stevens cover. And right there's your little Dave Stevens right there. And this is a book of his. And this is a Vampirella Transcending Space and Time. It's a trade with a beautiful Dave Stevens Vampirella cover. There's a poster made of that. I want that poster. Here's a Pacific Presents right there. It's got the Rocketeer and the Missing Man, so it's him and Steve Ditko in there. Pacific Presents #2. I believe this is the one with that other one's cover on it. I had a copy of this and I sold it, but it had an ink pen mark on the cover. I sold it or traded, I can't remember. But that ink pen, there's a local store that was around here that every time he sold off books, he would mark them down to really cheap and put them in a box, and he would take a red ink pen and mark on the front of the book, and usually where the price or whatever it is. And I had this book with that mark on it, and it drove me nuts. So I sold it. I traded it, sold it, I don't remember. It's been a while. So I had to have me another one. So I got me a nice Star Slayer #2. And first Rocketeer. And I put this one with the clear backing board so you can see this painter's tape. I love this painter tape, especially on Mylar bags. Why is it no one's invented clear painter's tape yet for comics? Just saying. Maybe I should, because that would be awesome. Rocketeer Adventure Magazine, #1. I think I've showed this one before. Here's a Quack #1. This is from the 77. Has Dave Stevens interior artwork in it. Early Dave Stevens, or if not first or early Dave Stevens artwork published right there. This is a foreign book, and I don't know where it's from, but it's something junior. Don't ask me, try to pronounce that. I guess I should have. It's got it's half English, half whatever. So it's issue 3, 9 stories complete. It's a really thick book, but it's got a Dave Stevens cover with a possum with an eye mask and a gun. Picked up this. Look at this card. This is from Graphic Designs, which back in the day they used to make all the cool t-shirts and stuff and a bunch of different stuff for comics, but got these little cards from them, and that is a Dave Stevens on there. True Love #1, and this is Eclipse, I believe. Yeah, Eclipse Comics, Dave Stevens. This I had forever. Airboy #5 with one of everybody's favorite covers. Johnny Quest #5 with awesome Dave Stevens. I had picked this copy up for like $5, and it's in rough shape. But here's a DNA Agents #24, and man, it is rough. So I couldn't live with that. So I got me an extra copy. That right there. So that's all my Dave Stevens stuff that I've picked up, kind of threw together. Let's get this next stack here. So independent horror #1s, just awesome stuff. Dead World #1. Look at that. And this is a beautiful copy. That all black cover. It is. I don't see any spine ticks or no color rubs. Vince Locke did this whole series. And it's really a good read, Dead World. And of course, this is from the 80s. So it was $1.50. It's by Arrow Comics. And it's really nice. So, Richard Corbin. God, what can I say about Richard Corbin? Beautiful artist. Beautiful. Done a ton of underground comics back in the 70s. And I have some here. But then he went in doing a lot of stuff for Feta. Well, it's funny. Some of these underground comics emerged or changed and plowed through the early 80s and up until the 90s. Like Fantagor Press started out as an independent, so did Kitchen Sink. But this is a Rip in Time #1 by Richard Corbin. Beautiful artwork. Does really well with like female characters in particular. But just any kind of art. Look how beautiful it is. This is a great, nice copy. And it's got a little price to it. Especially if there's only like 6 issues in that series. Of course, I'm collecting Bronze and Bronze Age horror and like 90s horror. This is one I've been wanting for a long time. Is House of Mystery 290. With the first appearance of I, Vampire, and this is a newsstand. It's 50 cents, so it's, newsstand really doesn't, not that relevant. These books here, I picked up off an eBay live auction. I'm not going to say who it was, but randomly, the lady who runs the auction, usually it's just a bunch of new They have great stuff. I'm not knocking them, but they have new variant editions, signed COAs, store exclusives, all that. And I buy stuff from them, but I buy stuff. I and all this stuff that I want, no one else bids on. I usually get it really cheap. So she threw these up, and I got these for $8. So here's a Gore Shriek #1 right there. First Tony Daniel art in it. Oh, is it Tony Daniel or Greg Capullo? Greg Capullo art right there. Not the cover, but he's interior. And then an issue 2, and I think it's issue 4 or 6 of Gore Shriek. That it's his first cover, Capullo's cover, and that book's got a little value to it. But just finding any of these in good shape is hard to do. And I got those for $8. No one, she threw it up there for $8 starting bid, and everybody's like, That's like, I couldn't hit the button fast enough to bid on it, and let's wait for no one else bid. I want it for $8. I'm like, yeah. So here's some underground comics. This is from, I don't know the years. I'd have to open all these up, but basically, late 60s, early 70s. These are the books that I can show you, because some of these books have a lot of nudity in them. And these books, undergrounds, were sold in what they called head shops. They couldn't, these were independent publishers, and they made these books and priced them, and sold them at head shops. So what's a head shop? So look it up. I'm not going to go into that detail. They couldn't be sold on the newsstands. They couldn't be sold in what comic shops there were at the time, because of the adult theme in there. Some of them are really adult. But this is a cool one. This is Snarf #3 with a Will Eisner Spirit cover. So, and this is from Kitchen Sink Press. That's how it got it, because Kitchen Sink took over the Spirit, I guess, in the late 60s, 70s. Published this magazine, Warren magazine. Was it Warren? Yeah. And I think it's owned by this same company. And so, love that. I'm a Spirit fan. I do like the Spirit. So here is a company. Hold on, I'm getting old. I gotta hold it back here. Looks like, can't tell. Last Gasp Comics and Underground Comic Workers. So that's the company names. But here is this is a horror book, and I can show this one. So this is Skull Comics #3, and it's got a zombie eating. I don't know what that is. It's a hunk of meat, and it's like people are worshiping that lady. And then you got #5 right there, and if you pause it, you can probably see a little bit of nudity on that cover, but it's really covered up. So Last Gasp did a lot of stuff. So this is a title, Slow Death. Look at that cover. I think I've shown this before, but because I got more to add to it. So there's a #2, and I mean it's been loved, but it's just an awesome cover. So Slow Death #2. Here's a Richard Corbin Slow Death #3 right there. Another Richard Corbin Slow Death #4. Slow Death #5. Awesome alien cover. Kind of reminds you of EC space horror titles. And speaking of that, here's Slow Death. Was that 6? #6. Look at that. Is that an EC ripoff or what? Adults only. And when you open, there's a lot of blood, a lot of gore, a lot of nudity, a lot of sex. Uh, this cover was by Rand. Um, but you see that the approved by Comic Code symbol is being eaten or crunched up here because it's not. It wouldn't have been. Here's another cover. Can I? Does that come out? Let me see how that does in the distance. Okay, yeah, we're good. So here's a Richard Corbin, Fever Dreams. You know, if you see the little green guy, but if you pan it back, you see the woman behind him. Another Richard Corbin cover, Death Rattle #1. Love this book. What number is this? Number 4, Death Rattle #4. So that's it for the Undergrounds. Did pick up a nice copy of Tales of Evil #1 from Atlas. I don't think there's any more than, I don't know if there's any more than one issue of Tales of Evil. And so, like I've shown on this channel before, big Charlton Silver and Bronze Age person, love them. If I can find them in very fine to near mint condition only. You can find the other ones all day long. But finding a heck of Charlton come off the stand, it was half beat up to start with when it first came out before they even delivered it. So find them in good shape. So here's a Ghostly Haunts #35. Awesome cover. And most of these are covers. They're just covers. Ghostly Tales #128. And these books, these stories, you might have stories from the 60s, being one book, one title, cover, and then in the 70s, they reprinted the same cover, gave it a different title, put the same book in there, called it something different. They jumped around so much. But I like this cover. I thought they have some beautiful painted covers. So the Mini Ghost of Dr. Graves #52. With that, I don't know, that's like a rat wolf creature or something. I don't know what that is. That's good. And here's an example of this book. So here's the Mini Ghost of Dr. Graves #44 for this vampire. I have this book, but it has a different title. And the cover is the same, but it has more red in it. It's a different. I wish I'd had it to show you. The all new Monster Hunters, issue #9, 30-cent Charlton book. But, hold on. A lot of people don't realize. Let me find it. Let me turn it this way. You can read it. So, right there. Zek. So, this is early Mike Zeck work. And I've found 4 or 5 issues with his. He did the cover art. You know what? This is such a nice shape. I never opened it. Afraid to. And this is an awesome Steve Ditko. Baron Werewolf's Haunted Library. This is a 60-cent book, #74. It's a newsstand. Of course, most all of them are. And check out the condition on that book. So that's my little bit of horror. So also been collecting Good Girl covers. There's boxes and boxes of them over there. And most of those I can't show you. But some of these I can. And what you consider good girl art varies. And especially by the company. But before I get to that, let's show you. I'm going to show you these 2 books. Picked up a really sweet copy of New Mutants '97. And the price I pay for this book is unbelievable. But look at the back. Look how clean it is. Beautiful copy. So I collect mainstream stuff. And this is, look at that. This is a George Perez. This is Fall of X #1. I believe it's a 1 in 100 virgin variant of the George Perez Miss Marvel, Jean Grey. And there's the back. See what I'm saying about that clear tape? That would be awesome. Now let's get on with the good girl. So This is Starstruck #1 by IDW. Look at that beautiful cover. This is White Widow SketchUp variant #2, signed. This is Snurdy did the cover, but this is signed by Benny Powell. Beautiful cover. I can show you that. Look at this awesome Miss Mystic by Bill Black. Bill Black did all these FemForce. This is from AC Comics. And he signed it. Signed right there. But look, that's an awesome cover right there. Here's an issue of this book I can show you. Some of them I cannot show you. But this is from Basement Comics, Cave Woman #2, with her and that big gorilla. And this book, I do not know what it is. It's a Peach Momoko Virgin variant cover. I'm not going to open it, but just look at the cover. I use Peach Momoko's hit or miss. I think this is a Dark Stalkers or something. I don't remember. This book here, I'm sure has been passed in dollar bins several times. But if you look this book up, it has a little bit of value to it. Not like enormous, but if you get it in super nice shape, it's a $40 book. But you could probably find $1.50 bins. So this is, let me make sure I can show this. Yeah, it was put on the stands. So there's Death Hawk #2. Aaron at Subscription Comics hooked me up with this book. He found it in a box of Independence, and I'm glad to have this. Glad he hooked me up with it. But this is from Adventure Comics, late 80s, early 90s. It's a $1.95 cover price, so it's probably around that time frame. Dorman says 88 on the down here. It says Dorman 88. He did the cover, but this is considered a Good Girl bondage cover, and it's got a little value. Now, this is the type of stuff I pick up that no one bids on. It's cheap off of eBay on these live auctions. So, here's a Josh Burns cover right there. It's like a copper tone. Any old enough know the copper tone sunscreen commercials with the dog pulling on the little girl. That's what this is. So that's a beautiful cover. Look at that cover. And this is a Josh Burns Fire and Ice #1. Look at that cover. Another beautiful cover. This is a Ron Leary Sheena, Queen of the Jungle Fatal Extreme #1. Another nice cover. This is a Carla Cohen Bird City Comics Crave #1 exclusive. And that's a beautiful cover. I'm going to say beautiful cover a lot because they are. Snurdy did variant for Dark Red #1. Super nice cover. This is an older one. So this is from the, I would say, early 90s. And this is a Greg Horn cover. So what this is, oh Lord, Jenna Jameson, we all know who that is, was going legit. She was trying to be your actress and star and stuff. So Virgin Comics decided to do a series with her as the main person. So Greg Horn did a cover for this. And that's just a beautiful cover. This is autograph book from Linsner. This is Dawn Pinup Goddess. Just to make sure I I'm double check these books so I flap them up. But he signed it right there. Wish it had COA. Here's another controversial book. It's this one and one other. The other one that goes with this is a $400 book in mint shape all day long. This one is a pricey book. I got a great deal on it where I found it. But this is, can I show this? Yeah, I can show it. So this is Cry for Dawn, Spring 1991, Volume 5. He's exclusive copy. Does sex sell? Buy this and find out. So this is another Linzer book. We're just going to hold that up for a minute. So Bruce Timm. Everybody knows Bruce Timm. What does Bruce Timm do? He does Batman. He does Catwoman. He does Harley Quinn. Well, Bruce Timm did a lot more than that before he started doing that. So here is and this looks ratty and beat up, but it is made to look that way. This book is actually 9.4, 9.6 all day long. All Crimes Comics #1 with a Bruce Timm cover right there. And it's awesome. Here is a Lisner Vampirella Dark Powers cover. I just thought that was a neat cover. And that one. And I went, let me see if I can separate these. Adam Hughes. Vampirella, when Harris Comics had her. Adam Hughes did a lot of covers for her. So here is a Vampirella #1. Adam Hughes. And you have to watch these. Some people are like, oh, this is, I'm going to mark it, but this fits it, but it doesn't have a poster in it. It's not supposed to have a poster in it. If you read it closely, it says coupon for free posters. So you had to buy certain issues, clip the coupons out, and send in, and you would get that Vampirella poster, I believe. It's the cover of that trade paperback that I want. So there's Adam Hughes there. Here's another Adam Hughes, Vampirella #2. Right there. Got the collect coupon inside for Dave Stevens, for free Dave Stevens poster. Here's a Adam Hughes Vampirella #3 with the coupon. These all have the coupon in them. And here is a Vampirella Pinup Special #1 from Harris with another Adam Hughes cover. Right there. I like the other one better. I like the pouty more than I do the muscular. J. Scott Campbell did some Vampirella. Here's a few of them I have. There's J. Scott Campbell, issue 2 of Vampirella. It's the 50th anniversary right there, symbol. But nice cover. Look at that cover. And here's a Vampirella. Mark Miller, Mike Mayhew did the interiors. Doesn't say what issue it is or nothing on the outside. It's probably on the back cover. I think it's a wraparound. But here's another J. Scott Campbell cover. It's got a bunch of monsters and stuff around her. So, you know, so there's like a werewolf and a Frankenstein and the Fly and the creature from Black Lagoon. There's a Chucky dinner called Talking Timmy. So I thought it was a cool cover. And that's it. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's it. That's what I've been up to. Some of what I've been up to. I have boxes and boxes. This video is going to run long enough as it is. I appreciate everybody who watched this video taking the time to do so. I hope you've seen some books you like. If I've got something wrong, correct me in the comments, because I do get stuff wrong. And I hope you learned something. I hope you can teach me something. And remember, collect what you like.